Hi everyone. So let's learn best practices, how to write effective user stories. So this is beginner friendly template which I use. I will share with you guys also. So let's take a look what are the elements you need to capture in a user story when you're writing. So this is the most task as a BA you are going to do. Very easy if you understand the format. So please pay attention what we are going to discuss. Okay. So first one, you start with title. So Jira title. You are going to create user story in Jira. Okay, right? So the title can be like action word first, then the object example, create, add, implement, validate, display. These are the most commonly used action word like a verb when you are creating title. So I'll show you a sample. Just go through the template. Okay, template. Sorry. So the first one title, second one background. Okay, so background. Why do we need this change? Like, what is the scope of this user story? Keep it minimum, like 2-3 line, right? Like very simple. What is the expectation? Why this feature is needed and business reason? Because why I would say some user stories I have seen simply the Jira title, do this one, right? Because why do you need to write background here? If you're working with multiple projects in the backlog, if there is um, more than 2-3 projects and there are a lot of user stories and different multiple developers are working on, so you cannot keep on clarifying the requirement for each developer, right? That's going to be time consuming for you. So if you write clear background, so that will eliminate more questions and your time also, right? So just write 2 line or 3 line, and if you have a diagram, and give the link here, Confluence link here, or the mirror link here. If you are created detailed process mapping, provide the link here. Just write couple of line and write here, please refer to this process diagram or something. Okay, so that's the background. So prerequisite, I don't know if you guys are writing, but I am always writing. I like to call out everything. I would say one-stop shop, right? Like after 6 years, after 3 months, if you came back to this user story, you will forget also because you keep on moving to the other project, right? So if you have this information like a nice background, prerequisite. What is the prerequisite? You know, what must already exist before starting this story? So let's say you don't have a dependency, like a dependency mean like first you need to implement the SQL database. First, you need to have the connectivity for the API integration. So these are kind of example. Let's say you don't have these to implement. Okay, so you are just doing a simple front-end enhancement, like you are implementing a button. That's it, right? So what you can write here, for this enhancement, you have created 4, 5, let's assume 5 user stories you created, right? And you created one spike to see if this is possible. So there is a sequence to, the user story to be completed, right? So what you can do, you can list the user story, which should go first. Like prior to this user story, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 is prior to this user story should be completed, right? So that's why this is very important so that developers know, okay, we should complete in order to implement this one. So that's the prerequisite or dependencies. Next one, other user story main requirements. So you already know who does what, right? As a user, I want so that, right? So write the user who does what. Like I want to view what? I want to view online application. So that's go here and write the benefit line here. Okay. Acceptance criteria. If you're not sure about like how do I write, how do I know as a beginner which is the precondition and which button user is pressing, then if it is this confusing, it's okay. You can, as a beginner, you can start by plain language, like a straight language. Okay, validate. Or you can use verify that. You can write verify that. this line, right? Like either you can write using validate or you can use verify that. So everyone can understand. Once you have experience, you can start coming and writing like this. Okay, given, when, then. So let's take a look at the field sample for your reference. So use a story title, create loan application. So you see the action word first and what you are creating here. Very simple. Background, customers want to apply for a loan online without visiting the bank branch. Prerequisite or dependencies, user must be registered. Login feature must be available. So user story, very simple. User is the registered customer who does what here I want to fill. So this is the does fill and submit what here loan application form. Benefit is I can apply for a loan online. Okay. So acceptance criteria, precondition, user logged in, what the user is doing when the user enters valid loan details, then what the system should do, expected result, then the form is submitted for successfully. Right. One more is when given invalid data. So customer is already given data. That's a precondition. When the user submit form, hit the submit button, and what we have to see error message. Okay. So if you want to write in validate format, validate loan amount is numeric, validate tenor is selected. Right. If you want to write this format, verify that loan data is saved in the system, verify that confirmation message is displayed. Okay, either way, it's fine. So extended version, I want to go over a little bit on this template as well. So similar, but more reasons are provided here. So background, why this feature is needed, business need, prerequisite we discussed what must be ready for before starting this story. Tech notes, sometime I write tech notes, sometime developers are giving, okay, database name and uh, stored procedure name, MRPC's name, other technical detail. Okay, this is the API name, this is the table we need to call, this is service name, this is the line code. So if you have some tech notes, you can add here. If you don't have a tech note, that's okay. You can just leave the title. So the developer can update here if because they're also doing a investigation prior to this user story. So if they have any finding for their fellow developer, they can update here, or you can simply put the spike they did here so that they have more understanding before they start the user story. Okay, so next one, user story, we already discussed. Acceptance criteria, we already discussed, okay. So condition, action, expected result, okay. So here, what needs to be checked, you can write in validate format, okay, what tester must confirm. So you can write this verify format also. So simple example here, customers want to apply for a loan using an online form. Prerequisite is dependencies here, customer must be logged in. Take note, user existing customer ID, background validation is required. Okay, so if you don't know, you can just leave it empty. So if developer wants, they can update, or you can ask them if there are any notes I should update here. So you can update here also. So user story, acceptance criteria. So you can use validate format or verify format. So the last one I want to touch here, how to write the user story title, right? The formula is like action verb, object, and context if needed, right? Common action verbs use first, create, implement, add, update or enable, disable, validate, verify, display, generate. This is pretty much we use for software development, any project. Like there are some other word sometimes come, but these are the common words. So you can start with this one, kind of your checklist. I'll show you some good example, right? So using implement new API for what, right? Create loan. What we are creating, does what? We are writing does what here, right? Implement new API, create loan application for, validate customer input, display loan status, create repayment schedule, update customer contact detail, fetch credit score from external service. store loan application. So bad titles are loan application API implementation, new API creation, customer validation, loan. Okay. So these are simple tips, but best practices that going to save your time. So you can use the same format. You can save this format on your desktop. And every time you create a user story, just fill up this one. So if you don't, mainly focus is writing these 3 lines and this acceptance criteria, right? So whatever other stuff like tech notes, prerequisite, these are admin things. So you write the title, write the user story, acceptance criteria. So if you have more time, and if you want to more refine and write more clear user story, you can start using this template. You can start refining. I hope this helps for everyone. And also, I have attached the link, so you can simply go ahead and download from my GitHub page, user story template, the same template I'm using to talk. Okay, this one. So thanks everyone. Have a good day.